I think that's something in golf as well that no one says they're a good player. Anyone you speak to, they always say, "Oh no, I'm not very good." And like you say, yeah, they'll go out and they'll smash it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Whole Story Podcast. Jonathan, we went back to Scotland kind of
we
in this episode.
we had a taste, and I will say taste because now I'm craving haggis and a macaroni pie, and maybe some soup. It's a little chilly for us today, so it's like probably 70 degrees by the afternoon, and so now I'm hungry. Yeah, we got to talk to Alan Moore, St. Cronan's or St. Conan's?
St. Conan's of
St.
Scotland.
St. Conan's of Scotland. As many of you may or may not know, if you've been listening for a while, I'm colorblind, so I had a revelation when it comes to tartan or plaid, as we say on this side of the Atlantic, that there are different colors involved. And apparently they also have meaning to them. So just intriguing as someone who really honestly wouldn't be able to see the color differentiation for most of what we talked about, but also it just sounds really cool.
Have you looked into like some color, giving
We
you some color glasses and
we
stuff?
have. It's been a family conversation for years. Honest to goodness, I have no idea why we haven't done it at this point.
I mean, couldn't you get like a pair of reading glasses or something that would give you some color?
It's not quite reading glasses. They're, I think, a $200+ pair of glasses that do something for the Roy G. Biv or whatever the color scheme is that you're not seeing.
Let me be there when you get those and put them on for the first time. You know those videos like where kids
I
see
know.
color for the first
I
time
know.
or they hear something for the first time? I want to be there when you see a golf course for the first time.
I feel like I have to take a trip to like North Carolina because I am absolutely the person. People do photography, everybody, there's a sunset every day and everyone feels the need to take a picture of it. My daughter's a big one that does that almost every day. I've been to North Carolina driving up to the mountains in the fall and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "Yeah, it's nice." So I just
see death. You're like, "Oh, look,
I
dead
don't,
leaves."
it looks brownish. Whenever we lived in Arizona, so we live in Augusta, Columbia, Southeast now. My daughter who sees, if you look at a color spectrum, I usually see about 15 to 20 colors across an entire spectrum, and she'll see 60 to 70 colors. She's an artist. So when we lived in Arizona, the sky was blue because there's no moisture, right? So it's a single tone color. And she's like, "I just hate the color of the sky." And I'm like, "It looks the same as normal." Apparently, where there's moisture and humidity, the sky looks a different color. So anyway, yeah. But today
we digress a lot.
We do digress. But listen, just incredible touches and really going after like the history of golf and the course and the people and the place and being able to tell that story as we do through podcast, through fabric, just fascinates me.
Yeah. I love the fact that because he's Scottish, like has an appreciation, played a little golf, wasn't diehard, like wasn't one of these golf sickos, but with what he's doing, he's becoming more and more of, I want to play golf. And so, yeah, excited what Alan Moore's doing, St. Conan's of Scotland. This is a great episode. I think you guys are going to like it. If you're a course out there, you're looking to sell something besides the traditional hats or polos or ball markers or whatever else, check out what he's doing because he could add some story to some products for you guys. So check them out. As always, we are brought to you by our friends at Summit Golf Brands, Beadraddy, Zero Restriction, Fairway and Green. If you check out any of their websites, you can. Jonathan's popping his Zero Restriction shirt there.
I think we're wearing the same thing today. Are you wearing a Zero Restriction zip up as well?
I am, but mine doesn't have the pocket. It's a different one. They have different options.
They do have more than one option.
Yeah.
And so we're both wearing the same color, so that's nice.
Yeah, not even close there, colorblind. Blue and black. Hey, come on. You got to be able to tell that.
I can tell that.
Anyway, if you visit their sites, use BestBall20, you can get something like what we are wearing, and you can find out they have a lot of different colors And so, yeah, appreciate those guys. Also, check out Western Birch. Speaking of colors, you can get colors all over the tees. Pick a different color, Jonathan. You can get your logo. At least you can see that. We
I can
have
see
golf
that.
tees with the BestBall logo in the cup, and there are different colors on them. So check those guys out, westernbirch.com. But let's get to today's episode. Alan Moore, St. Conan's of Scotland. Check him out. Find him on LinkedIn. He'll tell you where. But yeah, y'all enjoy this episode. All right, well, today's guest, Alan Moore. Alan is coming from Scotland. He's got maybe one of the most beautiful backgrounds. He might show us later. He'll pick up his phone and maybe pan around. But Alan, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks very much for having me on. I'll just give you a quick kind of look at this background. This is where I'm working at the moment. So I'm based on the northwest of Scotland, a little town called Oban, which is about 2 hours north of Glasgow. So it's in the Highlands, and it's right on the coast. We've got a very dry, clear day today. We don't get many of those this time of year, so I'd make the most of it and come outside.
Yeah, take advantage of it while you can, right? Well, very nice. Well, you and I have chatted a little bit through LinkedIn, and I know you were doing some exciting things in the golf space. But as we ask every one of our guests before we talk about actually what you're doing now, we want to know, like, how did you get into golf? Like, when did you fall in love with the game? Did you start playing early as a kid? Tell us how you got into golf.
Yeah, so I think being Scottish, golf is kind of inherently in you. I'm not a massive golfer by any means, but I think that when you're in Scotland, you're just totally surrounded by it, and I think sometimes you take it for granted how much other people from around the world really love the game. So yeah, I kind of grew up not far from a golf course. I live kind of next door to a golf course now. And as I said, I don't get out. I've got two little kids, so I don't get out as much as I would maybe like to play. But the industry and the sport itself is just fantastic. Yeah, it's always been sort of something that's on the periphery of what I do, albeit not a massive player myself.
Well, in Scotland, for those of you who've never been, it's almost like you said, everyone's associated somehow, whether you're picking up clubs 7 days a week or whether it's just something that's sort of humming in the background of the space around you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, my dad is a big golfer, and he there's different kind of cultures of golf and golf players in Scotland. There's the guys that are, members of the really high end clubs and pay a lot of money and play, the best courses. But there's a lot of players in Scotland who will just travel around and play the sort of municipal courses and the kind of the lesser known courses, and just love the game. And my dad is one of those people who just, wherever he's working, he'll have his clubs in his car, and the nearest course he can get to, he'll get on. And so that's always been kind of part of my life. And yeah, as you say, there's the town that I'm in, little tiny seaside town. There's 3 golf courses here. And yeah, it's great. It's really, you take it for granted sometimes being in Scotland.
Oh, that's one thing we've talked with our friend Ryan Caven, who takes photography or does photos for people that are coming on their bucket list trips.
Yeah.
And we've talked to him and so many others that there are so many in Scotland big name courses, or the bucket list courses that everybody wants to get to, but there are so many, as you said, maybe municipal or just other courses out there that as you're driving by, that for me, I would love to come do. Jonathan and I were fortunate to come play in St. Andrews last in April, but I would love to come and do the other courses, right? Just go drive and say, hey, there's a golf course, let's go play it, because it's probably going to be amazing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, where I stay, so on the northwest coast, there's the main course that I live quite close to, which is Bob McIntyre's course, Glencruiton. But then as you go kind of further, just outside the town, there's 2 smaller sort of 9-hole golf courses. But I mean, you're surrounded by greenery and nature, and it's just it's difficult not to kind of be inspired. So most of these courses you just go on, you don't need to pay. You just it's an honesty box, and you just go on and pay what you want. And
well, Jonathan and I keep talking. We after going once, we really want to go back. And I got to go in August with our church's youth choir. My wife and I were chaperones, and so we were up in the Highlands area, and so I got to drive past so many great golf courses. That was not a golf trip, so I did not play any, but I saw
Yeah,
plenty of them. So I
yeah,
took a lot of notes and got ready for
yeah,
what's out there. So
yeah.
well,
They'll always be there. They'll always be there for you.
they've been there a long time, and they will always be there for sure. Alan, you've taken kind of the history and traditions that people find in Scottish golf, and you have created a business out of this thing, right? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
Yeah, so it's kind of my background's in textile design, so designing fabrics and specifically tartan. I'd done sort of tartan design as a freelance job on the side for the last sort of 10 years or so. I've always owned retail businesses, so tailoring and kilt making and things like that. And I was approached by a couple of people about doing bespoke tartan for golf clubs specifically because it just sort of it kind of it goes hand in hand, tartan and golf. And I do a lot of work with distilleries as well. So the three sort of tartan, whiskey, golf, they all just kind of go hand in hand, really. And I think what I am quite good at is telling a brand story through a design or through a design product. And I think that's something that golf clubs, especially in Scotland, really there's a huge kind of opportunity for golf clubs in Scotland to do that to both guests and members. I think that now the golf industry is so massive in terms of product and people wanting to be associated with clubs and show their I suppose show off that they've been to a club and the experience that they've had, and they want anything that they pick up from a club. So whether it's a head cover or whether it's a jacket or a polo or whatever, they want that to be of really good quality as well. So I think there was a time before where these things were just sort of add-ons and just something that you pick up. But I think now the modern sort of golfer and the modern consumer wants something really good quality. And that's something that I've always done out with golf. And then now, yeah, I've kind of fallen into golf kind of almost by accident. But it just seems to be one of those things that you do one, and then it's like, actually, I really know how to do this, so I can do it for multiples as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. So I design bespoke tartan. So tartan, or plaid, as some of your guests might know better, is a fabric which is made up of various colours. It's woven in Scotland. It's made up of different colours that tell a story. Those stories are usually about clans and families, but there's definitely opportunity for businesses and clubs and memberships to use that tartan as their kind of flag, I suppose, as their sort of talisman. And it's such a beautiful object as well. It's not just about having a flag or something that doesn't look very nice and it's just there for the sake of it. This thing is really beautiful as well, and you want to wear it, you want to use it. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about what I do.
Well, and I've noticed on some of your products, because as most of our wives, if you're a golfer out here, you can't bring home another polo or another hat.
Yeah,
You're gonna get in trouble if you bring
yeah,
one more. And so you're designing products that do carry a little bit more flair to them. They are more bespoke, and at the same time, there's a story behind it instead of the, hey, I've got another coin or another flag or another fill in the blank.
yeah. No, definitely. I think with the tartan, it's really going into what makes that club. What's the history? What's the story? And a lot of tartan design is on a kind of surface level. There's a lot of like landscapes. So a lot of the older clubs that have bespoke tartans, they're green, blue, gold, and that's about it. Because there's green for the grass, there's blue for the sea, and then there's gold for the sand and the bunkers and things like that. But if we actually go a bit further into it, there's all these like really interesting characters and like little flowers that are dotted about the courses that are unique to each course. I mean, we were working on one recently that we kind of had the buggy going around the course, and I was like, stop, wait here, let's have a look at these little flowers. And the pro was like, I've been here for 10 years. I've never noticed these little flowers. It's just really cool.
Do you help courses come up with their plaid, or I know you mentioned like families, clans, like kind of have a tradition or a plaid or a tartan that has been passed down. But are there some courses and clubs out there that you're actually helping to create this for them?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, more than not. Tartan, it tells the story of families, but it really it's really about passing stories down, and each color and even the way that the thing is set out, is about telling that story. And with families, it's maybe telling stories about battles or interesting characters within that family. And I mean, all these things, these had to be designed at some point, and design and art and design is inherently human. And whether that's, 200 years ago or 200 years from now, it's about telling stories through something that you can wear or something that you can pick up and take home to your wife and show your wife, this is what we've done. It's not a polo or a hat. So yeah, going into a club and just finding out, and I think, the fact that I'm not a massive golfer is quite a good thing, because I can go in to a club almost blind and say, well, I don't have any sort of preconceived ideas of what the club is about or who, famous players or whoever have played there. I'm going in on a purely sort of research basis and saying, well, what makes this club really interesting? I mean, one club that I was at recently, they had these old benches. They're getting a new clubhouse built next year. Had these old benches, and it was like really soft wood, and it was kind of studded with all these little holes. And the guys were like, "Oh, these are really old." I was taking photos of them and drawing them and things, and so they're the old benches. They're not going to be kept for the new clubhouse. But these little studs were people, putting their foot on the bench and tying their laces. And they've been doing that over the last kind of 50, 70, 80 years. And I was like, you can't get rid of this. This is the
No.
club's history. This is, and someone, I posted on LinkedIn, and someone said, can you imagine the first person that done it? These brand new benches, and someone puts their foot on it and scratches it. And that would have been a massive moment. And then it just kind of goes on. And now they've got all ththese benches with, it's signs of age and signs of wear. And I think within all that is stories. And you think about, who was doing that and what were they doing at the time. And probably the same as you and I, like they had families, they had jobs, there was economic things going on. And it's just, I think that's really fascinating. And I think that'll always be interesting. But what I think I'm quite good at is taking that idea and then putting it into a product, that continues to tell that story, but is also commercial for the club, because the clubs have to make money as well. So because they want to keep going, they want to improve their course, they want to pay more staff for local economy growth and things like that. So yeah, don't know if that answered the question. Going on a bit
I,
of tangent there, but
I would probably need a little postcard to explain my tartan because I'm colorblind, and
okay.
I typically only see, like, I didn't even know there were extra colors. I thought everything was
Yeah,
just green and blue because anytime I've seen any type of plaid, it's like it just melds
yeah,
into one thing. So, little side note for those of you who are colorblind, apparently they tell stories and they
yeah.
have
No,
all sorts of
yeah,
different
yeah,
colors to them.
yeah.
Oh, my wife, her maiden name is Ross, and when we
All
were
right.
in the Highlands, we actually we met the clan Ross and got to see the Ross tartan, and it was interesting just to hear some of the stories there, and I can only imagine like one, just the historical, again, us being big fans of golf, and again, we talked earlier about traveling and seeing some of these places, but the stories like you're talking about the bench and just all the different little things, the stones that are out in these fields of
Yeah,
all the different things. You go to St. Andrews and there's tons of stuff, but I can only imagine, and I love your phrase of how you turn stories into fabric, and I just think that's a beautiful way to use what you're really good at to help
yeah.
clubs share their history with others.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that, you walk when you walk in these courses, subconsciously, you might not think at the time, but subconsciously you're walking the same path that thousands of people have walked before. And yeah, I just always kind of think, what were the guys that have done this first, or the guys that were doing this 100 years ago, what were their lives like, and what were they probably had exactly the same kind of enjoyment in walking a course and having that silence, especially the courses that are on the coast and next to the sea. Some of the holes that you're right on the beach, and it's silent, and you just hear the waves crashing against you, and you think there's guys 100 years ago in this exact same position, and they were thinking about their kids and they're thinking about work. but they were on the golf course and they were just enjoying the scenery. And I think that's really special. But then, yeah, and then there's a whole other side of golf that's really commercial. And I think that Scotland has this sort of, we spoke about before, this kind of two-tier. There's the really top end, really expensive courses, the bucket list courses that everyone wants to do, that are real kind of money making machines as well. And then there's the other ones down at the bottom who have, arguably the same value, but aren't capitalizing on it commercially. So but I think they are now. I think they're now seeing the opportunity, and like you said earlier, Robbie, there's all these courses that you want to go and see, and play, and I think that all these courses are saying, well, we've got this invaluable asset, which is the course and the environment. How do we capitalize on that? And how do we, employ staff? How do we keep the lights on in the winter? Because a lot of courses close down over the winter because it's horrific weather. So how do what sort of thing can they sell? And it can't be just people now are there's so much choice across anything that you buy that people want that really good quality. So I think that's where I come in and provide value.
Do you find it easier to do this sort of work for courses that have a full, rich history, or have you gone to places that are brand new? Because we've gone to brand new golf courses, and they're fun and they're exciting. They're usually in America, but sometimes if they're not intentional about it, it's very sterile, right? It becomes just another pro shop, another tee box, another something. But you have obviously the fortune to live in a place that you said a town with 3 courses that are probably all over at least 50 years old, if not 100 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's about finding what is right for that club, really. I mean, there's been 2 clubs in the States, particularly one in Texas that I worked with, where quite a new club, but we were looking at different photos and of the course being built and things, and there was a photo of these eagles or falcons that turned out they nested on the course, and I was like, that's amazing. Like, that's part of your story. It's not about the food that you serve or the cocktail nights that you have. It's these things. Like, this is what makes golf really interesting, and so we incorporated that into what they were doing. And then another course in New Jersey, we were looking at their branding and things, but just trying to kind of look a little bit deeper and just make sure it's right for them, because I don't think it matters how long the course has been going, because everyone has had a start at some point. So every course has to be new at some time. So if I'm involved, it's about laying the foundations to go on for another 50 years or another 100 years, and still deliver that value and still kind of give that history and push that.
Did the course with the bench, did they put their new benches right next to their old bench, or have the old one centered so that someone has the opportunity to be the first spike that makes the scratch in the new bench?
So the new clubhouse is still being built, and they've got the old ones. They've got the old ones there, and even like the old lockers as well. So the old lockers have got like marks around the keyholes where people's like key ring has been opening the locker, so it's all like kind of worn around that, and just like it's like patina of things like being doors opened and it's rubbed at one side and things. So I think they will keep part of it, and then upgrade, or not. I don't think upgrade is the right word, but change for the new clubhouse. But I think they will still keep some of it. I think that's an issue though. Is when is it kind of out with the old, in with the new, and what do people want? And it's tricky. I think it's really tricky, because some people look at those benches and think they're old. Like, get rid of them.
That's true. Well, as you take some of these things and you're creating stuff, what are some of the products? And we've seen it on your website and things, but what are some of the things you are creating for these courses?
Yeah, so we do things like head covers, flasks, cigar covers, notebooks, bags. I'm working with a company, quite a big company doing bags, and we're looking at kind of bespoke tartans for the bag. But it's kind of, I work with various manufacturers across the UK, and it's really finding out what works for that club. And, for one club, is really heavily associated with whiskey. They've got loads of members who are whiskey distillers and owners of whiskey distilleries. So to have things like hip flasks and cigar cases makes a lot of sense for them. Whereas somewhere like here, There's not a huge whiskey sort of thing in some of the smaller ones, so it might not make sense for them to carry hip flasks and things. So it's really working with that club to see, well, what is it that you need? What do you think you're going to sell? Even things like polos and stuff as well. Like people are always going to want to pick them up. Hats, like kind of flat caps, like kind of little tweed kind of bonnet things, things like that. So there's a whole range of things that we can do. It's just working out what's going to be best for that club and maybe what is another club not selling that you can sell. That's just that little bit different.
Yeah, go ahead, Jonathan.
I was going to say, do you have something that, as a non-golfer, is almost like an everyday carry for you, though, of something that you've made that does fit on a course the same, or is your wife saying, "Stop bringing these things home. We've got enough flask"?
Yeah, so I've got a pencil case, right? It sounds really my wife really slags what we call slagging off. Really kind of goes at me for this pencil case. She's like, "Why have you got a pencil case?" And like, well, that's what I do. Like I
Right.
have pencils, like, and I've got this really nice tartan pencil case. And we sell them to other people who do like drawing and writing and things. So stuff like that. But head covers, I mean, we do loads of head covers, so I'm always getting samples of head covers coming in, different embroideries, different tartans, loads of that coming through. And trousers, like tartan trousers or like plaid pants. Yeah, I've got a few of those. I think they look fantastic, but I think those are hit or miss. Some people really like them, others don't. I think they look great, so I've got a few pairs of those as well.
Very nice. What are some of the favorite courses that you've worked with so far?
So a few that we're working with, Loch Lomond has been really good. Loch Lomond is, I didn't really fully understand the history of it. So Loch Lomond sits kind of between Glasgow and Oban, where I am at the moment. So it's in a really the area is really kind of magical and romantic, and it's always kind of misty, and it sits on the water. And the history of Loch Lomond is incredible. They brought out a book that explains how it was formed and everything. It's brilliant. So Loch Lomond's really special. Two others, Cruden Bay up north near Aberdeen. Really kind of, I've got family there that I haven't seen in about 30 odd years until fairly recently. There's a castle, Slains Castle, which is supposedly inspired the Dracula kind of saga and Dracula story. Cruden Bay is a really special place, so happy to be working with them. And then north, sort of northeast, as Brora Golf Club, just
Mhm.
close to Dornoch. Really
That was
great.
one I passed by and really wanted to
Yeah,
stop and play. Yeah.
it's lovely. It's just so it's really. I mean, I keep saying I'm not a golfer, but I can appreciate authenticity and kind of realness within different courses and things. And I think Brora is one of those that is just pure golf. Like there's not really any frills or bells or whistles. It's just and it's really tough going. But it's stunning. They've got Arctic terns which nest on the course. And it goes back to 1924. It's really cool. So I'd say Brora, Cruden Bay, and Loch Lomond are really special ones. But I mean, every course I work with is different. There's always something different to kind of discover and different people and it's not like little subtle differences that only some people notice. They're massively different. Like Murray Golf Club, I've got huge ties with whiskey and Speyside whiskey. They're right next to the RAF base, so you have these jets flying overhead, like really low down. You can read the numbers on these jets flying past. It's like this is incredible. And and at Dunbar Golf Club, they've got this huge wall that runs through the whole of the course, like the middle of the course. Yeah, it's cool. And then there's like places like Gullen, over in North Berwick kind of way, where they've got different courses and they've got different clubhouses, and yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Is it the Do you think it's the uniqueness of the different clients you have now that piques this creativity as opposed I mean, you said you were in retail before, so
Yeah.
at some point retail is just someone's got to get there, open up a shop, do a day by day grind sort
Yep.
of thing. But it sounds like you're really, really searching and embracing the different factors for these courses.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, retail's good, but it's very it's very samey. It's the same thing every day, and you're just ticking over. You're doing the same thing, and I just got a little bit kind of bored of it. Especially where I live is quite seasonal. It's very seasonal. In the summer, It's filled with tourists. It's really busy. The town comes alive. In the winter, it's totally dead. It's really quiet. And that's quite hard to operate a business like that. You have to make all of your money in the summer and then withhold it during the winter. And it's you've always got that, is the season going to pick up again? And I mean, it always does, but you always have that in the back of your mind of what if. So quite a tough one. Whereas with what I'm doing now, it's a constant. I mean, we'll speak to one person who is a golf club, and then another client might be a distillery, another client working with a bourbon brand over in Kentucky, and so it's just really different. But the kind of process that I go through and the way that I work with them is always kind of the same, but the outcome's always very different. So yeah, it's these differences make it really exciting. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome, man. Jonathan, I don't know about you, but I am ready to start looking for flights and head back over to check out all things Scotland again. Yeah.
I'm still stuck that there are different colors of tartan. I didn't even know that they could, like, I'm being so honest. Like, I just don't see those colors, but I'm so intrigued by it because, like you said,
Yeah,
it's not just fabric, it's a story.
yeah,
And so I've never thought to ask someone wearing that from a historical perspective or a cultural perspective to say, okay, tell me more about
yeah,
why you're doing this, as opposed
yeah,
to the green and blue that you now have on, which may not be green and blue at all.
yeah,
Maybe they can
yeah,
help me understand that. So yeah. And then the other side too, you started mentioning all these golf courses, and I thought, man, I just want some sort of soup, some sort of meat pie, and some haggis, and I'm good.
yeah,
Like, let's just go eat our way through Scotland. This sounds
yeah.
great.
Oh, definitely, and I think as well, there's a lot of I keep talking about these kind of two tiers. There is, and that hospitality thing as well.
Mhm.
There's so many clubs that have got these amazing restaurants and huge, hospitality part of their business. But then there's the other ones that you just get like a rolling sausage. We call it rolling sausage, which is just like
Yeah,
like a roll with a sausage in it,
it was
and a
great.
cup
And
of
it
and
was
a cup
really
of
good.
It
tea.
was so
Yeah, it was
good.
brilliant, and it's so good, and it's especially on like a day like today. It's freezing cold, but it's really crisp and really nice. And yeah, you want to be on the course and then have a cup of tea and a rolling sausage. It's just like it's perfect. It's so nice. And I think sometimes that beats that sort of high end, super expensive experience. Not always, but sometimes it can. Especially if you're with your mates and there's a few of you playing. It's good. That's kind of the magic of it, I think.
Well, and members here are proud of their course, but usually
Mhm.
like to show off how nice it is, it feels like. And
Yeah.
every single person you meet, hands down, will tell you that their course is probably the best course for some reason. But there's such a rich pride to that, and it doesn't have anything
Yeah.
to do with, we've got the best greens, or we've got like
Yeah. Yeah.
the community that's shared among those men
Yeah.
and women in places. It's astounding. I mean, we were at some of really nice golf courses, and all the caddies were like, "Yeah, but you should come see my course." I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
every single one of them were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but you should come see my course."
Yeah, and I don't know if that will change because the smaller courses they need to survive, they need to make money, and you see a lot of them, building new websites and yeah, having me make them tartan and make the products and things. So I wonder if there's ever going to be like a tipping point where that changes and that magic is kind of lost, because I don't know, it's how long can you sustain that, and new managers come in and say, we've got this golden opportunity, let's up it a little bit. So yeah, it's difficult to maintain that, but keep surviving as well. But it's what makes it interesting.
Yeah. Do you feel like your work, and I know you said you weren't you weren't too involved with the game before, you played a little bit. Do you feel like
Mm.
your work has made you want to go play more?
Yeah, oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. But now I'm kind of the courses that I'm going to see are really good courses, really, starting to get to know the staff and the club pros and things. That I'm quite embarrassed to be like, maybe I'll play another day. I don't really want to stay to get out and mess up the first tee shot and all this. So I don't know. I definitely will. And I've got friends that play a lot, and my dad plays a lot as well. So I think it would be nice to maybe next summer, once I've kind of got a bit more. Kind of associated with the courses and a bit more it's not as intimidating to say, right, okay, let's get on.
Well, are you really bad or just relative to everyone playing golf around you, Scotland bad? Because like
Yeah,
there's different versions of bad. I've played with people who
yeah,
are really bad, and then there's other
yeah.
folks like I'm not very good, and they shoot 85 every single time.
Yeah, I think I think that's something in golf as well that no one says they're a good player. Anyone you speak to, they always say, "Oh no, I'm not very good." And like you say, yeah, they'll go out and they'll smash it. But no, I think the whole handicap thing as well is great because you can have the best day of your life and you're a low handicap and beat some of the better players in your group who are have a bad day. So no, but I mean within my group of friends, they don't we're all kind of similar ages. We've all got kids and don't get out as much as what we maybe would like to. So I think everyone's ability is kind of going down a little bit.
Well, tell us a little bit about the name St. Conan's.
Yeah, so St. Conan's is a little place just south of Oban. They've got a church there. It's called St. Conan's Kirk. And the story is that I was kind of looking for a little studio space, and the church is going through this. I mean, I say it's a church. This is a like medieval kind of mix of styles, and there's a whole history about it. I mean, it's an incredible place. It looks over the water. It's got this medieval kind of gothic sort of feel to it, and it's stunning. It's really really inspirational. You can go inside and they do little festivals and stuff. Loads of history to it. But they were actually opening a new space, and we talked about doing a little kind of studio space in there, which I didn't take, and I'm here now. But yeah, that's kind of where it came from. And it's very. I'm from Glasgow, which is central Scotland, one of the more kind of famous cities in Scotland. But I now live in Argyll, so Argyll is Northwest Highlands. I absolutely love it. And I think that when you think about Scotland, this is what you think about. You don't really think about Glasgow. You think about the scenery here. And St. Conan's, I think, really kind of brings all that together.
I love it.
Road trip.
Road trip, I know.
Road trip.
Oh, anytime, you're absolutely welcome. Anytime. Yeah, we can look at some of the lesser known courses around here.
Very nice. Well, we ask every one of our guests how what the story is of your most memorable golf shot.
Most memorable golf shot, right? I've got two. So on my honeymoon, we went to Gleneagles for our honeymoon. And within the kind of package deal that we got, my wife got a day at the spa, and I got a round of golf. And it was really nice. You think on your honeymoon, wife playing golf on your honeymoon, but it's mixed up. So I got there and they said, "Oh, you're late." And I was like, "I'm not late. Here's the email that says what time it is." And they were like, "Oh, we've got the times mixed up. If you want to tee off, like you've got 5 minutes," sort of thing. And I was like, right, okay. So I'd had this amazing breakfast, absolutely brilliant, like stunning location. And there was two people in front of me and two people behind me. And they were like, "You can just squeeze in between these two." I thought, right, okay. And it was on the Queen's course at Gleneagles, and the first tee is like up this kind of really steep hill, and really I felt really confident, but was very rushed, and hit this shot, and it went away over to the right into the bushes. I thought I'll take another one, took another one, did exactly the same. So I just put clubs in the bag. I just walked up onto the second hole. So that's probably my most memorable. But I suppose a good one is finishing that round on the 18th. You're shooting down to the clubhouse, and the 18th green is down at the bottom. And I hit it really well, just pinged it all the way down, and that kind of made up for that start of the round, which was pretty awful. I think it took me to about the fifth tee to actually compose myself and be like, "Do you know what? Just enjoy it. It's good." But all credit to Gleneagles. They got into the round. If you want to go on the King's course, and we'll give you a caddy and we'll pay for lunch and stuff. So all credit to them. They made up for it.
Very nice. Well, we do this other thing. I actually played golf on my honeymoon as well. I found a local municipal course down in Florida, and my wife rode around with me, so it was a lot of fun. But we do this other thing called a quick nine. Jonathan, do you want to start? It's kind of some rapid fire questions.
Yep.
Okay.
So the first one is favorite course that you've ever played.
I'm going to say, I'll say Gleneagles. Gleneagles.
It's a pretty good one.
Okay. Well, we talked about bucket list and how Scotland has so many of them, especially for us Americans. What is the course at the top of your bucket list?
I'm not a massive golfer, but there's a course that a lot of people are talking about at the moment called Cove Sea which is up, and it's a little tiny course. I've just never been able to get to it to play it. So this year I've really wanted to play it. So I'm going to say that course C. Yeah,
Great.
it's a little
Well,
tiny one.
it sounds like you're surrounded by these options, but what is the best course that no one knows about?
I'm going to say Glen Cruton in Oban. So it's Bob McIntyre's course. His dad is the greenkeeper. It's incredible. It's right on my doorstep, and not a lot of people. You get a lot of golf tourists coming through this area, and they don't know where it is. And it's brilliant. It's a really challenging course, and it's stunning as well. It's really really nice. So I'd say Glen Cruton.
That's great.
So, side note, have you made anything for Bob McIntyre yet?
Not yet, but we're talking with another brand that supplies some of their stuff. So we're talking about a collaboration with them. So I'm sure it's in the pipeline somewhere. That'll happen. Can't not happen. So
Nice. All right. When you get out to a course, who would be in your dream foursome?
To be honest, I don't think I know enough golfers. Do you know what? I would take my mates. I would take my
Yeah.
mates, four of my mates, and just have a great time with my mates.
Yeah, that's a regular answer too, and
Yeah.
and usually the right one.
Yeah.
All right. What is your walk-up song to the first tee? Not sure if that translates into Scotland golf.
Walk-up song. I don't know. Is that like a
What are you
WWF
listening to?
entrance song?
What gets you pumped up for the first tee?
Right, let's go for we're similar generations. Let's say the DX theme tune from
There it is.
WWE.
That
I like
was
it.
great.
What is the favorite golf club in your bag right now?
I'm gonna say a 3-wood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not many people say that anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a 3-wood. Yeah.
All right. My favorite question of the day: favorite snack on the course?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's say rolling sausage. Get a rolling
Yeah.
sausage at the start.
Oh.
Keep it in the bag and keep it in the paper bag. It has to have lots of butter, salted butter. Keep it in the bag and then keep it in your pocket for later.
There's no way I'm going to be able to find that for lunch today, and I'm just going to be thinking about it for days.
I'm curious your answer to this one. We ask everybody, what is your favorite golf course logo?
Favorite golf course logo? That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna say Brora. So Brora has the Arctic tern, which is really nice. And the terns are there's 2 sites where the terns actually nest, and it's protected by RSPB and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is a great logo.
All right. Last question. Finish this sentence. The best part of golf is?
That's tough. Best part of golf is the time. The time. The time, and whether that's time on your own or time with your mates or time to just reflect on everything. Yeah, I would say the time.
So good. Alan, this has been fun, man. Tell everybody where they can find out more about you, where courses can find you so that they can start working with you.
Yeah, so I'm really active on LinkedIn. So if anyone's on LinkedIn, I'm just Alan Moore. Sometimes Alan Moore 1030 should pop up. Or if you search for St. Conan's Design, I'll pop up somewhere there. Yeah, but LinkedIn is probably the best place to find me.
I love it. Well, this has been a lot of fun, man. We love meeting new people that are doing interesting things in and around the game. And so I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you on LinkedIn, and then the opportunity to help tell and share your story of what you're doing. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks very much for having me on. Really enjoyed it. Some pretty challenging questions, but good. Really, really nice to just chat about, some nice things about golf in Scotland and tartan.
Yeah. He gets to go back to his beautiful day by the seaside. We're going to go buy groceries. So.
Sorry. No, I need to do similar and pick up the kids from school. So but it's all good.
Yep.
It's all good.
Regular.
well,
Nice one.
The regular life. That's right. None of us are professionals in golf. We just get to talk and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's all good.
Very
Nice one.
nice.
Cool. Thank you very much again.
Yeah,
Really
absolutely.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, for Alan and Jonathan, this is Robby. You guys have been listening to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast.